bunch of crazy.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome to the Homies Overtime Circus, where we gets it in to talk sports, culture, and everything else you can think about on a Freaky Friday, Super Chat Friday, live on Fans First Sports Network, Steel Curtain Network, and broadcasted on the Know It Alls podcast, along with the frustrated Chicago Bear fan running through the jungle, and wherever you get your podcast notifications for the Homies Overtime. Sit back chilling with my boy Payday, my boy Tate Boy Fresh, and my boy B Dirt. And we're going to get up to the sports talk. But before we even kick it off, man, fellas, what's cracking? What's going on with you, Pay, man? I see you over there with that Chicago background trying to show the people what it looks like on the south side of Chicago, Illinois, man. What's going on with you, bro?
This is the South Loop.
What is that?
This is what you're looking at right now is the South Loop. Driving north on Michigan Ave. Right to the east, you will see Millennium Park, where you have the fountain, the bean, and Lake Michigan. But this is not the South Side. If I told you that on the South Side, I would be lying to you, and Pay don't lie to the people.
Facts, bro. Facts, man. Hey, what's going on, Tate Boy Fresh, man? What's cracking with you, man? What's going on?
Not too much, man. Just shooting my Friday evening regular, hanging out with the fellas, talking some sports, getting some no ditties, getting some fines, having some fun. That's about it, man.
Yeah. No ditties and fines are serious, Tate.
Hey, is that a virtual background, or that's like last week? I thought you had it like on your screen.
This is the screen.
Okay, that's what I thought.
That's crystal clear too, by the way. That's crystal clear.
You got it so much focus right this week that it looks like it could be a background, a digital background.
Yeah.
A virtual background.
Spend good money to put on a show for the people.
That's facts. Because what size TV set is that, Pay?
This is a 70.
Yeah. I'm digging it. Go ahead, Tate.
No, I mean he got me thinking that's pretty cool, but I'd have to turn my desk around facing my shoe boxes to get some of the effect behind me, because my TV's up on the wall right here. And it too is a 70 in this room. So
yeah, facts. Dirt, what's cracking with you, man? Yeah.
What's cracking, Dirt? I'm coming it over here, man. In my office, I only got a 55. The 70 is in the living room, so I ain't doing it like that, But getting by though, getting by.
Yeah, you getting drafted in 2 weeks, man. You gotta put your assets in a different bracket right now. You gotta think long term. Me, I can just bullshit like this.
Yeah, facts. Yeah. Congratulations, B Dirt, man. Early congratulations for your wedding, man. Absolutely, man. We wish you and Jess the best, man. You guys have a long, great, wonderful marriage, man. Absolutely.
I got to shout out Daryl Gaskins in the chat here. He says, "Welcome back, fellas. Let's talk a little baseball."
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to it. It is definitely on the docket. All right, so first topic. All right, because we just closed this out was college basketball, right? The women's finals, the men's finals, we have a champion, okay? Both schools have been absent from, their heyday. Gators won a couple back-to-back championships. Gino was winning. I saw a picture where Gino had rings that looked like dang on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Russell, and now UConn's back, all right? So out of those two schools, are either one of them really back? And there's a second part to the question. What blue blood school really needs to step up in the women's game or the men's game to get basketball back to the heyday like how it was? Because most of us are old enough to remember, including Pay, the heyday of college basketball, right? So, Dirt, I'm going to go to you first, man. Talk to me about what you're thinking concerning this topic, man.
So I think UConn is back. I think UConn is back on the women's side. I think Gino is going to get one more good run for, 5-6 years. They got some youngsters there that were very, very good.
Sarah Strong.
Yeah.
Facts.
Very strong. But I think they're going to be good for the next several years, and that'll be kind of his, I think, last hurrah. But it was nice. I mean, he reminded everybody who the GOAT was as far as women's college basketball coaches.
Yeah, he said checking in quick.
Man, and he had Dawn Staley go a mess over there. When they zoomed in on her and she said, I was like, ruh-roh.
Yeah.
But the second part of your question, to get back to like the blue bloods that need to be blue bloods, you can make some arguments there. Kentucky, I think, has fallen off a little bit. They have some things going on with the transfer portal. A young kid from Pitt is going there. I think will help them a little bit, whatever. But to me, it's pays North Carolina Tar Heels. The North Carolina Tar Heels and the Duke Blue Devils are one of the top. They're both in the top 10 programs in the country. I just think college basketball is better off for it. Period.
When North Carolina is who North Carolina is supposed to be, that's what you're feeling. Makes sense to me.
When North Carolina and Duke play and they're 1-3 or 2-6 or whatever, that's the rivalry that I think we all want. You know what I mean?
Agreed. I like that, man. Tay Boy Fresh, man. Is UConn back or is the Gator Boys back? And then who needs to get back in order to make college basketball what it needs to be, bro?
When you compare UConn to the Gators, there's no comparison. I mean, I would not completely understand what he's saying, but UConn didn't never go nowhere. They always been there. Now, they're back to winning the championship, but they've always been there with a chance to compete, right? Florida just got back since 06, 07. That's almost 20 years ago.
That's facts.
So, I'm not saying they back. They won this year. They could very easily not even get as close. They could not be in the Sweet 16 next year because of the parity in college basketball right now. So as far as that goes, I'd like to know just you guys thought as far as the game. Gino is the GOAT.
Facts.
Put FOIA for you on Dawn Staley.
Wow.
we all learned what that acronym means in the first show.
That's facts.
But so Gino's the greatest. Dawn Staley's a really good coach. What's her name? Is it Mock for LSU?
Yeah.
So this one goes with the blue blood in women's college basketball needs to get back. Used to be coached by one of the greats, Pat Summitt. I'm gonna say Tennessee.
Yeah, Vols.
Women Volunteers.
Yeah.
But where do you guys put Pat Summitt in the greatest women's college basketball coach discussion?
Number two.
Like
Gino's
that.
1, she's 2. Yeah, in my opinion.
No, I agree. I just, putting their name out there, don't want to forgotten about.
Yeah.
No,
right. No way, right?
Path for women's basketball, man.
She
That's
did.
facts.
She did.
Yeah.
She did.
Women's collegiate basketball.
As far as basketball goes, Big G, and B Dirt will remember, Pay was probably still hanging out with his dad at the time. I literally mean hanging out. But
no Diddy. Come on, man. No Diddy. Come on, man.
We gotta get back. We gotta get back, man, to Georgetown being good, man.
Oh wow. Yeah.
It's been a
Georgetown? It's been a long time, B Dirt. I mean, they were good in the 80s and the 90s. And then, when the 2000s came, they not been good for almost 30 years, man. But college basketball, like B Dirt said about Carolina Duke, was great when Georgetown was one of the better teams.
Agreed.
In today's culture, it's not about the program, the university, because everybody can get players now, right?
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
I mean, kids don't know about Georgetown, but Georgetown can make themselves a powerhouse again. It's just how you go about it, what money the schools, and Georgetown's a very well endowed school. The money that the boosters put in and the alma mater puts in and stuff like that. I mean, what I love to see them great again as far as men's college basketball.
Yeah, we saw a resurgence with St. John's. So it actually can happen. St. John's was ranked in what, the top 10 or 15 all year?
That whole Big East would be fun to be resurgent.
That
Oh my
whole
God.
Big East,
Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely, man. Villanova, Syracuse, Seton Hall, Pitt, St. John's, Georgetown. Yeah, that'd be, man, it would be great.
So
Go ahead,
do we agree that the Super Conference has benefited football but not basketball so much?
Absolutely. I think Super Conferences killed college basketball in a way that if you don't have a lot of older players or seniors and all like that are you're top heavy with transfer portals, we saw that with the SEC, but a lot of these other conferences suffer because of the Super Conference. You play these other teams twice a year. Those smaller conferences really help college basketball.
I think the SEC just did it better over the past couple of years as far as manipulating the transfer portal and the NIL or whatever. But, there's been talk now where all this money is in this profit sharing, and the Big East doesn't have – a lot of those teams don't have football teams.
Facts.
So are these Big East basketball teams that don't have football teams now going to be able to spend more money on their basketball program? And will that elevate them, the Seton Halls, the St. John's of the world? Will that elevate them into that atmosphere with those other elite teams right now?
Yeah, that's facts. A good point, B-Dirt. Absolutely good point. Hey, man, I'm coming to you, man. Same question. UConn or Gators? Who's back, or who do you think has established themselves and now being able to go maybe on a run to get a chip or two? And then what squad needs to come back in order to give the glory days back to college basketball, man?
The easy answer to that first question about the Gators or UConn is easily the Gators. The Gators hadn't won a national title since going back to back in, was it 06 and 07? So they're back. UConn women never left. They have went a stretch without winning Natty 10 years to be as a fact. So that's the gulf. Their gulf is a lot shorter than Florida, but Florida wasn't going to Final Fours and Elite Eights every season like UConn women were. So
facts. Yeah,
yes, the pool for UConn women, for the women basketball, is a lot deeper now than it has ever been. Thanks to Gino for that. Well, not just thanks to Gino, but thanks to all the hardworking people that put women's basketball on his shoulders and carried them up to that point. But Florida, I don't want to poo-poo Florida's season. Florida had one of the greatest men's basketball seasons ever, especially for a champ. They beat a lot of AP top 10 teams. They beat four top 10 teams in this tournament alone.
Yeah, facts.
Top 15 teams in this tournament. So it's really a great season for them. However, I want to throw water on all this talk about Florida being a blue blood program now, because no, for one, that's not what blue blood means. Just winning 3 natties, that's not enough. I mean, UCLA's, the UNC's, the Kansas's. You gotta start getting rings on the other hand first before you start talking to me. Okay, just relax. The other thing about what was the second part of that question?
What team needs to come back to give, as a resurgence program that's a blue blood that really needs to make college basketball move to what it used to be? Because, like I said, we all remember the times, and Burton and Tate has mentioned some of those times and some of those teams, man, like when college basketball was revved up. So who needs to do it moving forward, bro?
I'm a zig while you all are zagging. I don't think a particular program needs to come back. I think a particular old style of way we used to do business in the NCAA needs to come back. I think the Wild Wild West way of this transfer portal and the NIL does a disservice to the continuity of college basketball. It's easier to transfer as a basketball player than it is a football player. So
that's facts.
It definitely, the transfer portal doesn't affect football programs the way it does basketball programs, especially on the women's side. While we're talking about women's teams turn over a lot faster than men's basketball teams or football teams. But story for another day. But I don't think there's a team. I think this is a systemic issue. I think if you want some things to come back so you can feel that nostalgia, it's not necessarily one program. it's got to be a collective of getting getting some type of semblance of how we're going to do this in a less not archaic, but chaotic way. Because now you got guys just in and out, in and out, in and out, and
that's a big no diddy too, by the way. But keep going, bro.
It's a stretch, but it really takes away from
no diddy.
It really takes away from some of the magic that you see in the tournament. As you saw this year, no Cinderellas, because all the you got guys moving around, and bigger programs were able to feast on that, and therefore all the smaller programs, the guys with the Blakes and the Connors of the world, they couldn't get off and have a surprising upset win in the first weekend or second weekend. So if you want to not ramble, if you want to get back, you got to go ahead and start making some rules to get that together, or matter of fact, let's just disband the NCAA altogether. Let's super conference it up. Big Ten over here, SEC over here.
Wow.
Let's split it up and just do it that way.
Instead
of having a 64 team tournament or 68 or whatever, let's have a 34.
Dirt, that got you excited a little bit, Dirt. I see you taking your hand talking about, I'm in, you're in. Get rid of the NC2A. I hear it. And you know what? I think we're moving to that because it's money. As long as it's wide open and like you said, there's no regulations with NIL and how they've deregularized or taken the power away from the NC2A. I think you're going to continue to have this problem from a systemic nature with college basketball. But I do think that there's a competitive way that you can fix the process to get, some of these, like Tate said, the Georgetowns, the St. John's, the Villanovas, Syracuse, get these guys back in the tournament, mode. So then that way people, because nostalgia sells, whether people realize it or not, and nostalgia sells. And when you got nostalgic teams and organizations and colleges, yeah, people love that, man, when it comes to the tournament, man.
I think it'll happen in football first. And then it'll be panic stricken for basketball. And I think the NCAA will do whatever it takes to hold on to the rest of the college sports at that point. And they'll probably start doing the right thing finally.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, fellas, we're going to move to topic 2, right? We're going to start we got a comment. Jamal McCollum. We should still be able to draft out high school players instead of switching to one and dones in the NC2A. I personally think that college kids, I think that the basketball kids should have to go into the same rules that the football kids do. Even though I know it's 2 separate games, I think that they should have to wait at least 2 years, possibly 3, before they submit themselves to go to the NBA. Even though the injuries is not as high and all whatever else, you should have to have the same set of rules. So one and done in basketball doesn't work for me. But,
they have other options too, right? Because in basketball, they can go overseas. They could go to the G League straight out of high school and play for a couple of years, and then go to the league.
Brandon Jennings was first to do that, go overseas and play.
Yeah,
they won't let it, I think he was the first year they started that rule again, and he's like, I'm going overseas to play.
Yeah, and that's fair. If that's what you're choosing to do, you can. Yeah,
and honestly, when you draft kids out of high school, you merely drafting on upside.
Facts.
You know what I mean? That's all you're doing. You haven't said they can't do anything on NBA team next year. They're not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And this goes all the way back to like the Kobe Bryants too, Tate. Like a guy like Kobe. The Kobe we all know and love wasn't Kobe when he first came from high school to the pros.
Yeah. The only guy to really do it and do it well was that some King guy. I forgot his name. Some King guy. He did it. That's it.
Yeah. LeBron James, for y'all that's listening.
I was going to say Bernard King just to be an ass.
Yeah, facts. All right, fellas. Great topic. Great conversation concerning it, man. Good topic.
Hey, Big G, take a break between segments.
All right, well, let's take it now. We're going to pause for calls. We're going to pay some bills. You can get a word from our sponsors and partners as we pause on the Homies Overtime podcast on Fans First Sports Network. And we're back with Homies Overtime. G, Pay, B Dirt, Tay-Boy Fresh in the building, talking sports, talking a lot of good conversation. We just had a great one concerning college basketball and the resurgence of it and or what needs to happen. But now we're going to switch to the NFL. And this is a hard question, man. And this, I think this is why I chose this as a question, because I really want to get you guys' insight and opinion on this. All right. How do the percentages really work? Okay. What was the last team to win a Super Bowl that had the highest paid player at his position? Number one. And then as we move forward,
your question was highest paid player in the NFL.
Right, correct. But when was the last time the highest paid player won a Super Bowl? Right. So that's the first part of it, right? And then with that, now that we're free agent season is ending, draft season is up on us about 2 weeks, right? You got to look at the bang for the buck, right? And I want to discuss salary cap strains and willingness of many teams to tank and start over with the draft. And what are the pros and the cons of it? Because some teams just never win, but other teams hold on and they never tank and never break it up. And then they overpay for players that are too old and all whatever else. So I just want to, pros and cons of it, get examples of it, what you guys think. And which way would you go if you were an owner or a GM? Pay, I'm going to start with you, bro. Which way would you go concerning this process? Because it's a lot of, teams are upset about it.
The first question, just answer that first. The highest paid player that won the last one Super Bowl.
I'm asking you guys to see if y'all know.
Oh, it's Tom Brady. I can tell you. That's why I did my homework. So I wanted to the answer out there. 2020 with the Bucs, he's paid $28 million a year. He's the highest paid in the NFL 5 years ago.
That is facts. That is absolute facts, right? And it was Brady on the back end after the Patriot years was over, because Brady didn't take that type of salary while he was in New England. And let's clarify that. He didn't. But he got paid in Tampa, but he got him a chip. So, Tate, you're absolutely right. So, Pay, asking all that, you're like, which way would you go? Building, overpaying guys, feel like you got the talent, try to go all in. Would you break the team up? Would you go with the draft? Which way would you go if you were owner or GM, man?
I would never overpay anybody for anything. I mean, that's an easy thing to say. When you're running business, you're dealing with tight margins. So you want to have as much flexibility in your profits and your operating budget to put out the best product you possibly can, so you can continue doing this year in and year out. Especially in a business like professional sports, where you have a cap in some of these sports, the NFL having a hard cap, you got to be a lot more unique, a lot more intelligent about how you go about spending your money. So overpaying would never be something I would ever do. The other thing you said about, I guess, always jumping into the free agent pool to just grab those high earning guys and build your team that way. No, again, bad way to run business. It might sound like a cheap way to do this, but you can put out a good product by having low paid players.
Yeah,
you see this with big box retailers all over the nation. They don't pay them employees that much. Amazon is a very highly valued company. They don't pay them people that much. Just churn them out, churn them in, churn them out. That way, I'm gonna build my team through the draft. I'm gonna keep getting lower paid running backs. Go get the next one. As soon as he wants more money, go get the next one. Quarterback and try to win while he's still getting paid. Why he's still getting paid pennies first 5 years? Try to build it up that way. I'm gonna keep getting that. As soon as guys get good and want more money, I'm gonna do the same thing the Miami Marlins did. Trade them off.
Well, I ain't mad at that, but we don't see that happening a lot in the NFL, because the salary cap keeps going up and guys get paid and extended, and then they put these franchises in conundrums, and there's multiple franchises that's in this scenario in the NFL. So Tate, what would you do? I just want to see, what would you do concerning, draft, free agency? How do you balance it? Because we know that most teams don't want to tank. There are some that are out there because they've never been traditionally good. But most teams don't want to go through a 4-13 and a 5-12. What would you do?
I think most of what Pay said is spot on. What I would do if I'm, like he said, I mean, organizations and teams within under the umbrella of a league that's behind the shield, they are businesses, and you have to run them as such. You don't want to lose money. I mean, so every time a team jumps out there, and I mean, you can't get caught up in paying for past performance. That's where you go wrong initially.
Yeah.
You know, you got a player which is why all the talk right now about the Steelers TJ Watt trade. And I think they get a deal done, but I mean, it's gonna be a 2-year extension. You know what I mean? They're not going deep down that rabbit hole to do what the Browns did. You know what I mean? They match Myles Garrett money maybe, but anything past 2 years is too much. You got to be able to pay your players, pay your star players, your athletes, but pay them short term unless they're coming into their prime, unless they prove themselves like Jaden Daniels did already. And if he continues to go, then you pay him a little early. You pay him a year early as soon as you can, so that market don't keep going up on you. So one, you have to think fiscally responsible in that sense.
Yeah, facts.
Two, the draft is important because you're always reevaluating and reloading with young players. Like Pay said, young players are cheap labor. I mean, you know, you don't want cheap labor, but if you can draft a guy in the 3rd round that can fill in and play just as well, if not better than a guy that you're paying $15 million a year, well, you have to make that move. Damn loyalty to the player. I mean, organizations aren't loyal, players aren't loyal. Players chasing the bag, owners trying to save the bag. So, I mean, you know, and the whole tanking thing, that works for some teams, but don't always work. It's teams that's perennially bad all the time.
Facts. Yeah, facts.
Teams are always picking the top 10 all the time. So don't tell me that tanking works. Has to be it's chestnut checkers. Has to be a strategic method, the way you go about it. And every franchise is different, right?
Facts.
I mean, you find your guy, you pay your guy. The Bengals got Burrow. The Chiefs got Mahomes. The Bills got Allen. Now you got that guy who's worth that in the current marketplace right now. Now you're paying him. Now I have to see how the pieces fit around that. That, you know, that's like the sun to the whole what's it called? The not the universe. What am I thinking of? The galaxy. What is
facts. The galaxy.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so, and you find those planets that work around that, because the sun is the sun. The sun is the most important thing, right?
Yeah,
so
facts.
Now you got to find ways to work around that. But I agree with Pay. You don't overpay. Steelers don't overpay TJ Watt. Don't overpay Aaron Rodgers. But if you do, it's a 1-year deal. We know that. I mean, so it's just making smart decisions. You know, the Steelers are steadfast on not wanting to give Aaron Rodgers a 2-year contract.
Facts. Yeah.
And that could be part of the hang up. But they don't want to. Aaron Rodgers is going to make $25, $30 million. They don't want to sign. They'll sign him 1 year for $25 million. They're not going to sign him 2 years for 50. And we're trying to get another guy right now some kind of way. You know,
I agree.
So that's all. It's all over the place, but it's chestnut checkers. Think about it all strategically as one big piece of the galaxy.
So, Dirt, before I come to you, Tate, I got to ask you this question. If you were the owner of the Steelers, would you trade TJ Watt today?
I probably would, man, just because his value is not going to get higher. It's only going to get lower. I mean, you know, the Steelers, they didn't trade the guy, but they kind of forced Hines Ward and Troy Polamalu into retirement.
Yeah.
They let Franco Harris walk. We've seen stars walk out that door.
Rob Woodson.
You know what I mean? Rob Woodson going free agency. I mean, so who that name? I said Troy Polamalu. What else did I say?
Legacy Steelers?
No, the ones I just named. I said Troy,
Rob
Hines
Woodson.
Ward.
Yeah, Hines Ward. Yeah.
Rob Woodson, Hines Ward. Yeah. It was a fourth one.
Franco Harris.
See, now, they being ownership, want to hold on to TJ Watt, held on to Terry Bradshaw. I'm just wondering. I'm just saying. I don't know. But some guys they let go. Some guys they keep around.
Yeah, facts. All right, B-Dirt. Great take so far by Tate and Pay. But I saved you for last because, I know how much you
– the money man.
I know how much exactly. He knows the money. He examines the cap.
Money man.
B-Dirt knows this, man. So I saved you for last because I think you can not just piggyback off their takes, but also put a spin on this to really help the people that listen to our podcast understand what's really going on concerning free agency, starting over, tanking to build an NFL franchise.
Yeah, I mean, first I want to start at, we're talking about spending money, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No owner, no general manager, no president of football operations dictates how much money you're spending on a team.
Facts.
48% of profit sharing in the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, that's what dictates how much money you have to spend based on the cap. So when you look at this, very few teams dip below 5% left in their cap money at the end of the year.
Yeah, facts.
Even the 32nd lowest net worth owner, know him well, Mike Brown. He even gets in that upper echelon as far as pay. There's always a little bit of a nest egg normally going in to try and maybe get a free agent here or there or something.
Yeah.
The Steelers, by the way, they had the number one paid defense, I think last year. I know 2 years ago.
Yeah, last year. Yeah.
And their net worth is 29th in the NFL. So like you're looking at these teams are spending, but it comes down to an allocation of resources. That's all it is, right?
Yeah.
You got to decide the most valuable pieces and pay them accordingly. And like that's, to me, $55 million for Joe Burrow when you see these guys now who are getting 55 and Dak Prescott getting 60, and he's going to be a bargain. You know what I mean? Like in the next couple of years, he's going to be a bargain. We got him through 2029. So you got to work that based upon what rookies are performing for you, who you've got coming up in the next draft that you're eyeballing or you see your crystal ball that the next draft's going to be really good at defensive tackle. So maybe you don't spend as much in defensive tackle. You got to really start looking at where I get frustrated with the Bengals is they have four personnel in their front office that are solely looking at scouting. When you look at what the Philadelphia Eagles are doing, they have 21 people in their personnel for scouting. And that's the reason why they hit on their picks more than the Bengals do, right? They're investing 5 times the amount of money in that. And what does somebody in that scouting department make versus what somebody makes on their second year or their second contract? It's money well invested, right?
Facts.
So you have to do that. When you're talking about baseball, you get into the low spending, right? Low spending teams. I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I know everybody and their brother right now wants Bob nutting on a spit in a backyard on barbecue.
Facts. Yeah, facts. Big facts.
So I get that, right? That's where you can spend money and make a difference because you can get in a luxury tax and just spend it and not care. In the NFL, everybody's working with the same pie. It's how you divvy the pie up. And you have to be smart about how you do it. The Bengals have decided we're going to spend this chunk on our offense and we got some young guys on defense. Their defensive line, by the way, they were 11th in rush defense in the second half of the season. No one realizes that.
Yeah.
So those young guys started playing better. Yeah. So they look at it and they take a gamble. We're going to add one guy and we're going to take a gamble. We're going to go this route and we're going to draft probably heavy in that area, right? And then you try to go. But that's the way the game's going. I think it's going to get out of control at some point in time, and there's going to be just how we saw the running back get devalued. I think other positions are going to go through their devalue and their up value, just the way the game's always changing. And it was 11 personnel. Now you're seeing more 12 personnel. The value is going to keep changing. The more you see 12 personnel, the more value you're going to have in a running back and tight ends, less on wideouts. So it's going to keep changing and stuff, but you got to learn your mix and you got to allocate your resources correctly and not handcuff yourself. And you can get real like into creative finances and kick by paying bonuses up front and how that gets prorated and so on and so forth. That's another thing the Bengals did terribly with T. Higgins contract. I mean, they could have freed up a $7-8 million this year. That would have just cost a 1.25 over the course of the 4-year contract by paying it up front.
Right. Make an early decision. Make an early decision.
Be dirt. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like what you said. With allocation of resources, there also has to be an allocation of production. It's going to shift, right?
Yep.
I mean, so with that being said, what are I know what mine are in order. Are your 4 most important positions on a football team?
Okay. Quarterback. Quarterback. 2 and 3 are really close for me. Quarterback, wide receiver, left tackle are very close for me. Considering you have a right-hand quarterback, you got a left-hand quarterback, blindside tackle.
Right.
And then I would probably say, I would probably say edge rusher.
Yeah. Well, those are my 4. Those are my 4.
Yeah.
Quarterback is 1. Like you said, I agree. Yeah, wide receiver and tackle are close because you need to tackle this for the quarterback and throw the ball to the wide receiver. You need the wide receiver for the quarterback to throw the ball to. So I mean, yeah, those 4 though, and I'll go ahead and use your order because I think you could argue about 2 and 3, but there's really no need to.
I go 2A and 2B. How about that? 2A wide receiver, 2B left tackle.
Hey, what's your order? Just so we know, what was your for allocation of position, money spent on position? What's your order?
The natural order of things goes quarterback, the guy who protects the quarterback, left tackle, or the best tackle you have on your team. Hopefully that tackle isn't a bum, and you're one of the better in the league. After that, it would probably be an edge. I would prefer it to be an edge, and then a little razzle dazzle for the 4th. Maybe somebody in the front 7 to go along with them. I think those things are not hard coded. I think it's very mutable. But other than the number 1, I think your quarterback should always be the highest paid guy on the team, if not still in his rookie deal. Your quarterback, if your quarterback isn't the highest paid player on the team, obviously it means you don't have a quarterback, right? In my opinion. Case in point, who's the highest paid player over there in Vegas? Not the quarterback. They don't have a quarterback. That's why. That would be my 4. It would be quarterback, tackle, edge, and somebody else in that front 7, the next best player.
So,
I'm digging it.
So, but if you look at the front 7 outside the edge, I think it impacts drafting too. I mean, I think you draft the positions that B. Dirt and myself named to pay. You name 3 of them because those are the ones you want the 5th-year control option over because those contracts are going up, up, up. I mean, your quarterback, your receiver, your edge, and your tackle. I don't know right off the top of my head, but I bet those are 4 highest paid averaging positions in football.
Yeah. Quarterback, edge, and the highest paid edge ever is what? Is 42.
Myles Garrett just got it.
Myles Garrett just got the bread.
He's getting 42. Wide receiver ain't too far behind that. You got what's his face?
Jamar Chase went over Myles Garrett.
Yeah, he jumped him. Yeah,
he's getting over 40. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're right there. And then what? I think there's about 7 or 8 quarterbacks getting paid more than 40. So.
Oh yeah.
Geno is now the highest paid player on the Raiders.
Yeah, they renegotiated his contract. Didn't they? They gave him like an extension.
He got 37.5, and Max Crosby got 35.5.
I forgot him and Carroll hooked back up in Vegas.
Max Crosby's deal is longer though, right?
3 years versus 2 years. So yeah.
Hangover part.
But 4. average salary per year.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is my last question concerning this. So we've identified the 4 positions that you should be paying the player for. When do you say, as an organization or franchise, we don't have any of those 4, or we have to have so many of those 4 to not want to blow it up? Because I think there's a lot of teams that, and my Pittsburgh Steelers is one of these teams that, you don't hit on any of those 4 positions that you said, or not enough of those 4 positions where you say, hey, listen, man, it's time to do what we need to do to get the right side of this thing and put ourselves in position. So I just want to know when you guys think when you should blow this up. When, at what time should you have to have 2 of the 4, 3 of the 4, 1 of the 4? When do you say, no, we just can't keep going down this path? Tate, I'm going to ask you first, man.
Well, ideally, you put your team in place and you drop your quarterback in on a rookie contract, and you get more value out of it that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you got a quarterback you're paying big money to, you got to get that thing done fast.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I think the Steelers, as you mentioned, them are in the stage where they're still building a team. That's one thing the Steelers haven't done since Big Ben left that I like. They haven't went and gambled and spent big money on a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And when they drafted somebody and they saw it didn't work, they got off of him. So, we don't have a quarterback, but I can respect how they doing it. They're not just going out there just to go out there willy-nilly. They're, again, chess, not checkers. They're being strategic about it. But I think, as far as your question, Big G, like I think I said it, you gotta build the team up first, then try and find your guy at quarterback and drop that player in. I mean, pay Chicago Bears, I think they'll be good. And I think he's a lot better than Caleb Williams. You gave him credit for last year, Big G, and you'll see this year.
Oh, I'm turning the corner on Caleb. I really am turning the corner on Caleb. I'm gonna stop calling him trash. I think the kid's got potential. I think he's got potential. But look at Pay's face. Look at his face. He mad.
He ain't mad. We knew it was going to happen one day. We knew.
Yeah.
But I will say that they didn't have the team they thought they had last year, the offensive line in place and all those pieces, and they struggled because of it. And I don't think Eberflus was the right coach. But this year they've made a lot of moves, and I think they will in the draft to put those pieces around second-year quarterback, and they're going to be better because Caleb Williams will have a year under his belt, and he's getting a better offensive mind that can kind of coach him up and build a scheme around him. Eberflus won't build no scheme around nobody.
That's
so,
facts.
Like I said, they're a year behind. Ideally, you have it before you drop the quarterback in. They got their guy last year, played relatively well. This is going to be the year.
Got you. Dirt, when you think, man, what's the criteria?
So I don't think you necessarily tear it down. All right. I think that's an overreaction to the terminology. I think you always continue to build. Where I think fans start thinking the tear down and the rebuild thing and whatever it might be, is I think you always build, but you don't let great players walk without getting a returning asset.
Yeah, facts.
So if you got a Trey Hendrickson going into his last year, you've got a TJ Watt going into his last year, and that contract needs to be another 3-year extension or give or take. Either you get that deal done or you get assets in return and trade that player.
Yeah.
The one time I'll say, forgiveness for that is if you think you're legitimately taking a swing on a last year contract with a player at a Super Bowl. I'll let you take that swing. If you think that you're right there, you were AFC Championship game last year, and you're thinking you just got a couple more pieces and you add a piece here or there, and you think you got a run left and you can't negotiate a contract with that player, let him play that deal out if you think you got a chance at the Super Bowl. If you legitimately think it'd be a stretch for us to win a Super Bowl, get assets for that player. Don't let him walk after a year with free agency. Don't let him cause a stink. Don't let him get on social media throwing deuces and making a scene. And get them out, get assets. And that doesn't mean a rebuild.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You can just at that point reload. In my mind, you're not blowing the whole team up You've got one aging great player that now you're going to get returned assets for.
Absolutely. And for you guys that don't know about throwing deuces, B Dirt is specifically talking about TJ Watt and him throwing deuces on his social media account, saying, and I'm to the point where I think we should trade him. But Dirt, go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
And listen, and I'm not, by the way, Steelers fans out there, I'm not throwing shade. We're in the same situation. I think the same thing about Trey Hendrickson. I love the guy to death. He's not as good a player as TJ Watt. He does one thing really well from one spot on a football field.
Facts.
You look at Max Crosby getting $35.5 million for his 3-year contract. You've got a situation where Trey Hendrickson wants at least 3 or 4 years and wants more than that $35.5 million. And Max Crosby averages about 85 tackles a year.
That's big facts, man. That's big facts.
And Trey Hendrickson averages about 42. About half. Because he does one thing really well.
Yeah. Pay, you close this topic out, man. So what's your thoughts concerning, like, when do you do it, bro? When do you blow it up? He must got a mic muted. Okay, there you go. Yep.
You thought you was going to get me, didn't you, G?
Almost did. I was waiting.
Yeah, okay. What happened? I didn't hear the question. My computer was moving, doing the weird stuff.
So we identified the criteria for the 4 positions that you should have in order for you to feel like you're a contender to win something. Division, playoff games, possible Super Bowl. If you don't have 2 of those positions missing or 3, when do you make the decision to, like, just, hey, it's over, let's blow it up and let's start over, man?
I think that decision is made for you, to be honest with you.
Wow.
I think when you see that you don't have a shot most Sundays, and then this goes for any sport, when you see you don't have a shot, you see that your scouts tell you that your players are not top 10 in their position, or so on and so forth. That decision is made already. Let's start all over. That's what makes being a pro athlete so much difficult than being any other high paid profession in any other realm in this economy, well, any economy. They're drafting, your replacement is coming out every year. So if you're not good enough, that's okay. I got an 18-year-old that can do not an 18-year-old, but I got a 21-year-old that can do your job.
Facts.
Go on, find somebody else that'll pay you. Next man up. Do it again in 4 years. It's no big deal. I said, so you don't really make that decision. It's going to be pretty evident once you're, I guess, 2 years in. Once after 2 years of building up the team, like, okay, this is the team that we're going to try to compete with. Second year, like, okay, we're not getting to where we think we should have been. All right, guess what? Start over.
Yeah.
A lot of teams, you're playing with big millions, $500 million. So you probably do have to see it out a little further, and definitely because you have these contracts, you can't just keep doing the. I want to say Jerry Jones, but it's more like George Steinbrenner. You don't want to just keep firing people left and right. You do got to respect contracts a little bit, right? So you're going to. You make the decisions made at 2 years, but you're going to have to stretch it out for 4 to 5, just because you got these financial commitments. But yeah, 2 years.
Facts. All right, Tate. Oh, go ahead. Go. You got one more thing, Kev? Go ahead, bro.
Got questions more about the topic, real quick. So 2 questions. Well, 2 questions and a comment. Keep your eye on paid CCTV in Chicago. Nightfallers be following us. We're gonna see something happen soon. We'll get some action on these streets in a second. So look closely at every stoplight, every street corner, and check out what's happening. But
carjacking.
Yeah, it could be. In Chicago, oh yeah.
My question is, the Dallas Cowboys, for example, got the receiver. I think CeeDee Lamb's a top 5 to 8 receiver. We don't have to argue about where he's at. top receiver. Micah Parsons, great get paid. Probably a top 5 edge rusher. They just got off they tackle, right? Tyron Smith, or which one they just get off of?
Yeah, they did. And they replaced him with Tyler Guyton.
And they got another young guy over there.
Tyron Smith.
Tyrod Smith, another tackle. So they loaded up there. They got those 3. They're overpaying their quarterback position. There's no way you should normally go into it. Joe Burrow makes $55 million. That you should give Dak Prescott $60 million. In no world.
That's facts.
In no world. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's facts.
That's where you talked about the next guy up should not automatically get the bigger contract. It should be based upon what your projected productivity is for that contract.
Agreed. And my last question, you guys have any idea? We talked about the rebuild and the tank and all that. You guys have any idea what the San Francisco 49ers are doing, and will they be a playoff team next year?
I think they're in that purgatory, not purgatory, but the mode sort of like the Steelers. They're dumping players, high contracts and all whatever else, and they're trying to get young fast. And they're trying to remain relevant at the same time, Tate. That's just my thoughts, because they dunked Debo. If Brandon Ayuk wasn't such a story, I think they would look hard at dumping him. I think they'll keep like Nicky Bosa, but they have no answer at quarterback.
Well, they can't dump Ayuk. They just signed him last year. They lose a lot of money doing that.
Yeah.
So they can't dump him right now.
Yeah. McCaffrey might be dumped. I mean, George Kittle, I can see him start dumping assets, man, to get younger faster. Because I don't think they're relevant, not for their division, but that's just me.
If they haven't cut Kittle by now, they're not going to cut him. He's probably got a roster bonus that's already been paid out. So but yeah, I don't think the Niners are going to be relevant this season. I think their windows.
No playoffs. No playoffs.
No.
I think their window's closed. McCaffrey's going into a timeshare with someone. That elite running back point of his career is done. And Brock Purdy is he's a mid quarterback. I think he's pretty good for what he has, but as far as put him from quarterback 1 to quarterback 32, he's mid. He's in the middle somewhere.
From Mr. Irrelevant to one of the highest paid in the league when he's had weapons all over. Brock Purdy is not a force multiplier. Joe Burrow is.
No.
So there's no way I think about paying Brock Purdy over $38 million, 40 to high end.
And they're going to pay him, Tate. That's the sick part. They're going to pay him.
18. I think there's 18 quarterbacks in the league right now that make over $35 million. So Purdy's going to make over $35 million. I mean, that's fair. It's fair for him. For one,
it is fair.
Dictates it. And 2, he's played on a $600,000 contract for how many years?
You don't pay for past performance. You don't pay for past performance.
You don't. But he's also put you in a Super Bowl once and the championship games another time. So there is a pathway to pay him market rate, and the market rate is above 35 million. And will he get another contract that'll pay him at least more than that? We'll have to see what he does in this little contract situation. So $40 million for Brock Purdy is not breaking the bank. I mean, that's where he should be paid. He should definitely get that biggest raise in NFL history. But yeah, he's not a force multiplier. The assets are gone now. This is a team.
That's when you got to show up. I agree with you right there. Now we get to see what Brock Purdy really is.
And mid. He's mid.
I think
he's mid. Pay already said he's mid.
I think we know
and that's why they're not going to be in the playoffs.
And that's why the 49ers, they have no problem tearing it down and going and rebuilding. They've done it since the Harbaugh Bowl. They've rebuilt 3 times?
Maybe 4
each time.
Yeah, maybe 4. Maybe this might be their 4th teardown, Pay. You're right. Absolutely. All right, fellas, we're going to take another break, make the last break, pause for the cause. We'll be right back on the Homies Overtime. If you're watching us live on YouTube, just give us a second. Wherever you get your audio podcast, Google, Spotify, and or Apple. We'll be right back with the Homies Overtime on Fans First Sports Network. Great topic, great segue. Back after a commercial break, Homies Overtime, Big G, Payday, Tay Boy Fresh, and B Dirt in the building. Sitting around talking sports. Y'all, we've had two. I think this is one of the best shows that we've had, in my opinion, concerning the topics, because people always think that they listen to us maybe for the personalities, but I'm telling you, knowledgeable and understanding how sports work, this is the place where you come and get your information on the Homies Overtime podcast, because I'm sitting in a podcast room or chat or discussion with four very knowledgeable gentlemen that understand and know how sports really works. All right, so fellas, we're to the baseball, and we're going to speed it up just a little bit. Baseball, we done had the turbo back introduced. All right, what rule changes need to happen in baseball to continue to make things go enhance and get better? Or have we hit a sweet spot with Major League Baseball to say, okay, this is what we've been wanting to see for the last 10 years? Dirt, I'm going to go to you, man. You're a Detroit Tigers fan. Talk to me, man. Which way do you think this thing goes, man? Or we hit the spot that we need to be for people to get back in the stands and everything for Major League Baseball?
Well, I really think speeding up the game has done a lot for it. I don't know how much faster you can get as far as the speed of the game. I think the next obvious progression to me is to have, and they're talking about some of this happening now, is that enhanced replayability. Just get the call right, and not only get the call right, but it's going to be much faster. They're going to start using technology that, I know they've talked about doing it in some of the NFL games and stuff. They're going to start using the technology basically that's based around what they use in tennis, with different angles and all that kind of stuff, and have digital readings. So if there's a fair foul call, rather than everybody go to the dugout, get on the phone, it's literally going to be a call in, foul, fair, go. Yeah. So I think that's the next step, as far as get the call right, but get it done faster. That's the biggest step I think they can take forward. Just speed of the game, excitement of the game, and keep the game pushing, man.
Facts. Tay, we got a super chat from Claude Bishop, man. Claude says, Pay, B Dirt, would you two agree that Rodgers is making the Steelers look like fools? That's a question to you two. So it's a fork in the road. I would put Claude in the Matrix, but I'm not going to do it. It's his money. Claude, we thank you for the 5. B Dirt and Pay, can you answer that question, please?
Go ahead, Pay.
No, I don't agree that Aaron Rodgers is making the Steelers look like fools. I mean, if you wait too long to ask for a date to the prom, you're going to get left with what you get, right?
That's facts. That's facts.
You're going to take.
It's a great analogy.
All right. You might have to go with somebody else who ain't got a date, and they may not be your cup of tea. We already know how Tomlin likes to have his team all in. He prefers his team to be one band, one sound. He wants what did he say? He wants players, not hostages.
That's facts. That's what he said.
Yeah. Volunteers.
Volunteers, not hostages.
Right. Volunteers, not hostages. Aaron Rodgers. He's going to make you feel like he's going to get on ESPN and cry like he is a hostage. Like, oh wow, they're making me come to practice during the off season. Oh, why I got to do that? Hey, again, you wait too long to ask for a date. This is what you get stuck with.
I feel it. B Dirt.
And the worst part, to keep that analogy going, Pay, is that that your possible date got eyes for somebody else. The only reason why Rodgers keeping this thing carrying out is because he wants the Minnesota Vikings to say yes. They ain't saying yes. So you just the backup plan. That's it.
It sucks being the 3 a.m. call when you really when you know that person is calling you at 3 a.m., texting you at 3 a.m. Hey, you up? You know that they was really looking for somebody else at 1. And it was blowing somebody else phone up at 10, 11, 12, 1. And they just settle like, all right, let's see what this person doing. And Aaron Rodgers is treating the Steelers like that. You know what, Claude? Maybe he is making them look silly. Maybe he is. Don't look desperate. The worst thing you can do out here is look desperate in these streets.
Ooh, hold on. M. Sparks, hold on. You got to put his comment up.
Tate got it.
But the Bungles are burnt toast. Man, woo, come correct with that. That is, man, you got me. That's a good one, buddy.
M Sparks, man, catching strays from B Dirt on the homies overtime, man.
Way to get it.
All right, man. So we're gonna go back to the baseball topic, man. Dirt answer, Tate, you answer. What do you think? Is this where we're at? We're at a sweet spot concerning baseball, or do they need to do something to enhance it to continue to get people back in the park, back in the stands, and get the excitement going for Major League Baseball?
Well, in every sport, well, MLB, NBA, NFL, we've transitioned to an offensive game. People want to see points scored, therefore touchdown scored, therefore 3-pointers, therefore runs scored. You know, pitching is a necessary evil, but you don't care about it to the playoffs. So, you know, because you need it in the playoffs. You need to keep runs off the board.
That's facts.
Yeah, in the regular season, you'll win a game 11-8 and you'll be good about it. But you give up 11 runs in the playoffs, nah, we can't go for that. So it's a median. I mean, you know, I think that baseball, you know, they're doing it different now. They're giving the guys the bat. They're not, you know, they're still hurting the pitchers. They hurt the pitchers when they had the juice ball era.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Fans want to see more home runs. Let's juice the ball up. Let these guys smash it out. On top of Royden.
Yeah.
They were okay with that. It wasn't a thing. It's never a thing till the thing comes out and you get caught.
Yeah.
Then it's a conspiracy. Then it's a big deal. It's a big thing, right? So they had that era. They had, you know, and now they can't change the balls up and admit to all that, Pauls. They can't change the baseball up.
Exactly.
To all that.
No Diddy.
So now, you can't give me no Diddy when I catch myself, man.
No way. Still, you catch yourself after, not before, not during. The pause doesn't count. It's already out there.
But yeah. So now they're going with the torpedo bat. I don't know what run production is in the MLB through the first 18 games for everybody this year compared to last year. I don't know.
I think it's up.
I think has scored the most runs so far this season has not used the torpedo bat. Have they pay?
Oh, you know you're gonna be talking about those Cubbies.
No. I don't think a handful of teams are using the torpedo bat right now.
And the Chicago Cubs are not one.
No. And the Cubs, as you said it, the Yankees don't even lead the majors in home runs. The Dodgers.
That's facts. That is facts.
You know who's number 2?
No, I don't. Oh, the Chicago Cubs. He's looking at it.
Number 2.
Okay.
No, Tiny Bears, a little bit.
Yeah. Baby Bears.
Tate, you mute.
Just chiming in real quick because y'all talked about. I didn't get a comment on it, but Claude asked B Dirt and Pay the question. Never missed a prom date. Never. Nobody said no to me. So I don't anticipate Aaron Rodgers saying no to the Steelers.
He's saying not yet.
Just had to get that old school picture up, man. I had hair.
Yeah. Facts. All right, so Tate, you answered Pay. Do you think that we're going to see? Because I think baseball's been pretty good and moving towards getting that trying to get back in that conversation with the NBA and the NFL over the last couple of years. But what do they got to do? Are we at a sweet spot where things and fans are really enjoying it? They're getting back in the stands. They're coming to the ballparks. The game's not as long, or or do they need to really tweak something and change something to get it together?
I don't think baseball has to tweak anything on the field. No. I think this is a bad person to ask because I think the game is beautiful. I thought the game was great, and you needed no notes before all the pitch clock and the instant replays and all that stuff like that. I thought the game was a perfect game. Maybe it helped some of the some of these newer generations who have attention deficit issues. So maybe because I'm only one person, right? But as far as what they do already, they can't. I don't think stuff like torpedo bats. I think that's a little gimmicky. I mean, I didn't go to MIT, so I don't know. Maybe it's not gimmicky. Maybe it is something that you can do with it. You know, going out there playing with a wiffle ball. I mean, with a wiffle
facts,
whatever. But as far as baseball, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Now, I'm talking about the on the field play. There are things they can do to make their television product a lot better. One, this is now I'm talking business. One, they need to cut all this local TV crap out. They need to have a Sunday ticket type model, the same way the NFL does. They need to start distributing it the same way. They need to make baseball go from a local game and make it into a national TV product. And then that way the game would be a lot more digestible for people who are used to watching TV.
Anything else that they need to do? That's the only thing that they need to do.
That's the only way they're lacking. Everything. The game is great. The game. Baseball playoffs is amazing. You all saw the World Series this past year with the New York Yankees versus the Dodgers. Even though the Dodgers routed them, it was a pretty enjoyable series. The playoffs are always great. So I don't think the product has anything to do with anything. And we get on Manfred's case about always putting his hand in the cookie jar and always messing around with stuff that don't need to be tinkered with. The game ain't messed anything up other than not punishing the Astros the way they should have been punished. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
The only thing that they have to do is just make this game more palatable on a wide platform, just like the NFL and NBA has done. They haven't figured that part out yet. Once they do, we can get back smoking.
So what about? And I agree with Pay. I think that's what the pitch clock is about, making it more palatable, making it speed up, because it really don't matter to the playoffs. People are just tuning in. Nobody's watching the Cubs and the Brewers play except Cubs and Brewers fans. So I don't even know if the platform matters. As long as your fans can see your game, I think that's with baseball. Football, NFL, you got big matchups every week, and you're looking to watch the primetime matchup. Baseball has long since gone away from having that type of relevance until you get to the playoffs. So I would say that part, that the clock is about making it more. People don't want to spend 3.5 hours watching the game. They kind of got it down like 2 hours and 20, 30 minutes at the most. I think that's good change for the game. And I have the Major League Baseball ticket. I can watch any game, but I got it just so I can watch the Reds every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I do watch them mostly every day if I don't have anything going on. So yeah, that's my thought. I think baseball's doing a good job. I think the game is perfect Pay. The only spot, and I don't know, we disagree. I just think it could have been sped along a little bit like they're doing. I think that works better. And I think so. B Dirt, what do you think about the strike zone? AI calling balls and strikes. You like that?
Yeah, if they get it right. If they get the technology right. You know what I mean? You got to get the technology right. If you don't get the technology right, no.
Yeah.
You got to keep testing that stuff in the minor leagues and make sure it's 100% legit when you bring it up.
Yeah, agreed. All right, last subject, fellas. NBA, right? This playoff time. There's been some firings, man, that just makes absolutely no sense to me.
Road.
Oh, yeah, Tim Lyons. Here we go. Tim Lyons, $5 super chat, man. Tim, we thank you for the super chat. He says, hell no, Pay. So make people pay more money to watch their local team. Streaming services are robbing everyone like cell phone companies. Laugh out loud. So he disagrees with you totally. Matter of fact, there was an earlier comment when he said to put Pay in the Matrix. So he said it. I promise you he did. So he was saying when you got to talking about the whole paying, how you pay for baseball games, I just want to get your response and then we'll get to the NBA, Pay.
Well, you can't watch the product for free. We all understand,
Facts.
right?
Facts.
Unless you want to watch, unless you want to listen on radio, which I like to. I like to listen to Cubs games on the radio. I prefer it that way. You understand that this is big business. You understand that you're going to have to pay to watch your team, whether you pay what how much the NFL ticket costs now. Sunday ticket is like $240, something like that. Whether you pay that to see all the games, or whether you pay how much the MLB charges you $20 a month to watch your team if you're out of market. $20 a month. That's less than Netflix. I mean, it depends on how much.
It is less than Netflix.
So it depends on how much you like your team. It depends on how much you want to see your team. If you want to
pay a nerve with Netflix to take.
If you want to,
because my bank card, I had to cancel it. Then I get all these notifications when bills weren't getting paid. I need to update my information. I just updated Netflix day before yesterday, and I saw like $26.95 came out. I probably was paying that and never saw it.
It went up. It went up.
Like, oh, I thought it was like $18.95 or something.
Man, I've known Tim for way too long, and I don't have a problem with the comment. I got a problem with who made that comment. I know darn good and well that boy ain't paying full price for none of it.
That's facts.
Bootleg.
That's fact.
Out of here with that.
Getabox.com. Thank you. Getabox.com.
There's always a torrent. There's always a stream somewhere. I mean, if you're not going to pay, hey, as of right now, then no one's making you. But that is not going to always be an option. So I mean, get ready.
It's going to transition that to every sport. They see they can get. It's going to be more Netflix games in the NFL. NBA is going to Amazon soon. Bye bye TNT. We talked about this a year ago. I mean, baseball is going to have different packages.
Had their last regular season game.
Right on TNT the other night. Yeah.
Oh, look at Tim. That snitch is taking down people with him. Tate knows my source.
He said, hell no, an exclamation point, all caps. Hell no, Tate knows my source.
Taking
straight
down somebody.
Dry snitching, man.
Hey,
dry
Tim,
snitching.
You enjoying all them Cardinal games too, ain't you, man? And the Bengal games. Every season, every year.
Don't feel bad, Tim. I got it too. So don't feel bad.
And you know what? I have no problem giving you guys the game. That's what the big homies for.
That's big fact.
I have T-Mobile, and T-Mobile Tuesdays gave me the MLB ticket for free. So
for how long? To lock you in to get addicted to it.
I've got the whole season, Cubs baseball, anytime I want for free. T-Mobile Tuesday. Shout out to T-Mobile. They should sponsor us.
Facts. Let's get a sponsorship. T-Mobile, if you hear it, sponsor the Homies Overtime podcast.
It's been a couple of times. I can't. Go ahead,
He's got his own chicken so he can get his own eggs. Ain't paying for that TV.
That's facts. That's facts. Keep it pushing, bro.
Hey, Pay. I sometimes I don't know why the Reds game they might be playing the Cubs and it might be not on TV, but all I gotta do is go to Chicago Marquee Network and there it is. I get it, but again, my streaming service, I get all those different channels. I just got to look to where it's going to be at. You know what I mean? Yes, TV. The Cavs playing the Brooklyn Nets. Go watch them. You know what I mean? No problem.
Facts. All right, fellas. NBA. There was a couple of firings. I didn't understand it. We're going to talk probably a little bit in detail about the firings. Are teams like the Nuggets cooked before they even start for this NBA playoffs, man? The playoff picture and in your opinion, how important is it to have a great coach and a great GM to make a legitimate playoff run? Because the culture is changing. It's always been sort of player-centric, but you had to have that guy to be able to lead and guide you to get you to the chip. And Malone got Ken, and the dude just won a championship. So I want to get your take on the playoff picture. And do you think it's over with for the Denver Nuggets, man? Tate, I'm going to start with you, man. You're the basketball guy on here, man. What do you think about this subject, and why in the hell did they fire the head coach and the GM?
Well, I think they fired Malone, and he's one of those guys. He'll have another job when next season starts. He'll have a job. Don't worry about it. But I think they fired because he was no longer connecting with the Denver Nuggets, and they have been trending down with the best, one of the top 2 or 3 players in the NBA. I don't think they're cooked. I think if you watched them last night, they played somebody, Joker on the bench, drawing plays up. Joker might be the coach. Joker got the chalkboard, erase board, drawing plays up on the bench.
That is facts.
I think they'll be okay. As far as coaching GM, I mean, coaching is important and GM is important. But once you get that guy or those guys, you get them a contract, then it's all on coaching. Coaching. The GM got his guys in the building. Now, here's your ingredients. Go cook with it, coach. You know what I mean? The difference between the Cavs this year, Kenny Atkinson, JB Bickerstaff. JB had a good team last year with the Cavs.
Yeah.
Good message, defensive message. But he didn't just – it wasn't resonating with the players in the playoffs. They played stagnant offense. Kenny Atkinson brought something different. They've won, I think, 16, 17 more games to this point, and they won 48, 49 games last year.
Facts.
I think J.B. Bickerstaff, just like Mike Malone, got a job, has done good this year with Detroit. Detroit's a very good team. But, I think JB is the guy to take them from the basement to the first floor. You're not gonna go all the way up with them. Maybe that changes. But some guys are foundation layers, and some guys, once the foundation is laid, they're architects. They come in with all the plans and make all the fun things people see in the building. You know what I mean? So so I think GM is important, but GM's not important as coach. GM, get your players, or you're gonna get gone. Coach, when I want to get you your players, make them play right.
Got it. Dirt, man, what you thinking, man? Well, first, is the Nuggets cooked, or is it over? Are they gonna break it up, and then do you think that you got to have that primetime coach and that GM to be able to hold it down to push towards a championship?
To answer your first question, do I think they're cooked? Do they have to have that, coach and GM? I don't think they're cooked. I think they got a puncher's chance because they've got the best offensive player in the league right now. Has been for several years. Now, I don't have him winning the MVP this year. I'll give you your, SGA. I'll give you your moment.
Yes,
I think he's the MVP. I think Shai's the MVP this year. But man, I don't want to play Joker in the playoffs. I don't. And I don't think losing Malone, even this late in the game, because of all the toxicity we've heard coming out that was there, is going to be why they lose. If the Denver Nuggets lose in the Western Conference, I think it's going to be because of Russell Westbrook, not because of not having Malone. I do say this, though. I did like the fact that the owner came down and, the GM said that he wasn't going to work. Calvin Booth said he wasn't going to work with Malone. Malone said he wasn't going to work with Calvin Booth. And the owner said, you know what? Both of you kick rocks. Loved it. Like, you don't get to do this. You don't get to do this. This is not the culture we want here. Both of you get out. I think he's going to hit the reset button the correct way.
I like it. Pay, your thoughts, man. Is it bye-bye season for the Joker and his boys? And do you got to have a coach and a GM to make this thing happen right, man?
And explain those beady eyes when I said that about Russell Westbrook. I want you to defend your boy. Go ahead.
That's not my boy. Putting the blame on Russell Westbrook, a bench player at this point in his career, is a bit rich, don't you think, B-Dirt?
I'm just saying, when he gets in there,
dysfunction.
The problem was Malone was kind of like, I don't want to say married to him, but that was his guy. And he kept playing him, and it wasn't working. He kept playing him, and it wasn't working. And Russ got a lot of time. Russ got some starter minutes.
Russ had a great career. Had one of the all-time great seasons that I've ever seen. The way he played basketball and had to be ball dominant and everything, it just doesn't work anymore at this later part in his career, and he hasn't made the adjustments to become a role player.
We got a super chat. Claude Bishop. We got a super chat. $2, man. Claude Bishop says, should J.J. Redick, thanks for the $2, Claude, should J.J. Redick be the coach of the year?
I don't hate the take.
I don't either.
Detroit Pistons, like a word.
Oh, there you go. Detroit Pistons. Definitely.
Like
yeah. Detroit, either him and the Houston Rockets. Coach.
We all know it's going to be Kenny Atkinson, man. What are you guys talking about? All those guys are worthy. I don't know that JJ is as worthy. I mean, he had LeBron and AD, and then he trades AD for Luka, and they haven't won 50 games yet. Had they like they maybe their next win will be 50. But we talking about teams that got 60 wins. And Yume Udoka has done a good job. JB done a good job too. But I just said why you can't have JB be coach of the year after getting fired and the guy to replace you take that team to a whole other level.
I feel it, Tate. Might be a little bit of bias, but I think the winning of the Cleveland Cavaliers, you got to stand on business concerning the improvement. But yeah, Dirt, you're also correct too. To go to 18 wins to be now in the playoffs and be a 4 or 5 seed,
26 game turnaround. How many did you?
Yeah, that's
17, but we won 48 last year.
Okay.
And the guy that coaches last year is the guy that's coaching the Pistons now.
All right. But, so
JB will finish in the top 2 or 3, but JJ Redick won't finish in the top 5.
No, he won't. Absolutely not. Hey, man.
See, another sport, another bad take by Claude. It don't stop.
Yeah. Claude doesn't. I think Claude might have asked that because he wants to go to the Matrix tonight, and he hasn't visited it. So he hadn't been home. He hadn't checked the home country. He ain't checked out the door. But so I think we maybe have one more super chat out of Claude coming because he's not gonna be right unless he gets his fix to head to the Matrix, man. It's just not gonna work. So Pay, man, are the Nuggets cooked? And how important is the GM and the coach?
I think I saw on Bovada or BetMGM that the Lakers were the favorites to be Jokic's next team. So that's any indication, then yeah, they are cooked. But are you asking, does a team need a coach and a general manager to win, to make a playoff run?
To get a chip, do they have to have it?
I think yes. I don't think you can do that without those two. I mean, the general manager and the coach they built the team that's supposed to win. You got to have those. Denver Nuggets have those too. They just have an interim tag in between, which odd that they're saying one of the reasons why the Nuggets were, I guess, underperforming was shitty defense, and then they fire Malone and they promote the offensive assistant coach. We'll see how that works out for you. But Russell Westbrook, I mean, blaming Russell Westbrook for losses is a little, especially losses in the playoffs. It's a little much. And asking a former MVP to now be a role player, that's tough. I mean, Bill Walton, and then who else has ever done
Bob McAdoo.
Who else, Cinder?
Derrick Rose.
Time out, guys. I didn't realize we are going to be on for an hour and a half.
I'm waiting on Big G to wrap it up.
I got to take a quick break here.
Take it. Take the shot. Do what you do. Cheers. All Cheers. Right. Do what you do. All right. So, Pay, if you're done with your take, we're to the end. We are to the end of the podcast. We're into the end of the Homies Overtime podcast. Man, we had a great show tonight. Great topics, good conversation, good discussion, and good information.
I'm going to finish this evening by agreeing with Claude. He said, you guys laughed at Lakers hiring JJ. I will say this, Claude. I think JJ's –
I didn't laugh.
I think JJ's been better than most people had thought that in the circles that I think he's been better a coach than what I thought he
would. As early. He's early, but I never – you can listen to guys on TV and hear their basketball mind. I never doubted his basketball mind at all.
I didn't laugh.
But I haven't seen riffs amongst the team.
I laughed. I would tell you the truth. I laughed.
Okay. All right. So final thoughts. Anything you guys need to get off your chest? Say what you got to say before we get out of here. Dirt, I'm going to start with you, bro.
Man. So it's been a weird and interesting week. A guy I grew up with is on life support right now as they find organ donors for him. Freak accident, weird things happen in life, man. You never know when it's someone's time. So if you've been thinking about calling somebody or you haven't talked to somebody in a while, you want to reach out to them, do so. Hug your loved ones, tell them how much they mean to you, and be a good human. That's all I got.
Big facts, B-Dirt, man. Loving it, man. Pay. So on you, Doc.
It has been an interesting week, man. I just a lot of people lost a lot of money. A lot of people made some money. You know, those people are I would call them criminals. But I just want everybody out there. I appreciate you all for tuning in for it seems like 15 hours to listen to us. You know, we ramble on about sports. It means a lot to us all that you all actually give us the time of day. So from me speaking for all of my three homies, thank you. And hopefully and hopefully this administration's third term will be a little less chaotic and we won't have bumpy weeks leading up to Friday, because Fridays we try to keep them peaceful.
Got you. Tay Boy Friday. Yeah, Freaky Fridays. Peaceful and freaky.
And freaky.
Yeah. Tay Boy Fresh, man. We turning the corner at third base, man. What you got, man?
No, peacefully freaky. Pay merch.
Peacefully freaky. Yeah.
that was difficult for me to do. Peacefully, I'm not too peaceful.
Wow.
But nah, man, I just want to say, man, the rich get richer. And I thought Big G was going to bring it up when he talk about it, but there's word out here in the NIL college football streets that Nico, quarterback of Tennessee, is going to be transferred to The Ohio State University. News to break sometime in the next few days, it sounds like. I mean, so might be, putting the cart ahead of the horse, but hopefully it happens. And yeah, we're ready to go after it again.
Yeah, Tay, we got a super chat by Tim Lyons, man. Tim Lyons, man, we thank you for the $2. He said, Pay made my week. Thank you, Pay, for that. He appreciates you, man. Thank you, Tim, for the $2, man. He said you made his week, man. Hey, so listen, my final thoughts as we finish up. Thank you, too, Claude, for saying it's a great show. We appreciate all you guys that stuck with us throughout the whole conversation this evening. Thanks for sticking with us, man. My final thoughts is this, man. On Sunday, 200th episode of the Know It Alls podcast. If you have not already become a member and subscribe to the Know It Alls podcast, in order for you to get access to the dollars that we're going to give away 4 $25 Venmo, any kind of way we can get the money to you based on some questions that we're going to ask on the show on Sunday, live at 6 p.m. You have to be a member. So even if when you go to your friends and talk to your friends about, hey, they have this show, you got an opportunity to win $25. As long as you subscribe to the show, we have a way to figuring it out and tracking it. You got an opportunity to win one of those $25. So this is maybe you can get your family and friends, because sometimes they don't listen to podcasts. Some of them like sports, but they just don't know anything about it. This is a great opportunity to get them involved with it. Send it, get a subscription, and then give them an opportunity to win $25. We are fastly approaching 1K subs. So every sub counts. And this is our way to do the appreciation and celebrate 200 podcasts in a row for the Know It All podcast. B-Dirt and Pay are definitely members of the Know It All podcast, but it started with me, Tay Boy Fresh, and my boy Mod. So we appreciate you guys. Spread it, send it, and let's get those subs pumping for the 200th show of the Know It Alls podcast.
No Diddy. You got to chill.
I said it on purpose. I knew you was going to know.
Spread it, send it, keep pumping. What are we doing?
Hey, man, I said it on purpose because I knew you was going to do it, man. I knew you was going to do it. I promise you I did it. I had to get a no Diddy before we get off.
Hey,
man.
look, there's somebody jacking somebody. Move your head, Pay. See it down in the corner? The little gang walking down there.
Somebody was getting jacked for real?
Them bangers.
Oh,
wow. YN bangers out in them streets.
Wow.
11 o'clock, Pay. Ain't it the curfew in Chicago?
Something like that. Hey, we appreciate you guys again. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful weekend. Hopefully, we're going to see you guys on the Know It Alls podcast. If not, check out the Homies and Homies Overtime next Friday with our fellas in the crew. As for me, Tay Boy Fresh, Payday, and my boy B-Dirt, we'll holler at you guys next week. Peace.
Mamba out.